Hey everybody, this is Luke from the Freelance Network Podcast. A quick message before the episode starts. We had some technical difficulties with Zoom this time around. There's a couple weird cuts. Don't worry about it. It was just our internet. It's all good. But hey, enjoy a preview of our guest Leah's new song called Get Over Yourself and enjoy the episode. Thanks, guys.
See you at the party, shots and glam, I'm down to party.
Welcome back to the Freelance Network Podcast, everybody. A podcast by content creators for content creators. Woo! So, Cassie, we have another lovely episode today. We hit episode 30 last episode, which is a big deal. We talked about your college journey, which was super fun. Got a lot of good feedback to it. Lots of congratulations. So well deserved. But Cassie, how you doing? What's up?
I'm doing good. I am still shocked by the amount of feedback we got from that episode, because usually we get very little, but we do appreciate everything we get. But that episode, a lot of people messaged me that I didn't even know watched the podcast, and they were like, "Great podcast." So thank you guys for watching and listening and stuff like that. It means a lot. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well too. But today we have a very special guest, one of my really good friends, which is funny because our guests are usually all Luke's friends, but I finally brought on one of my friends, Leah McNamara. Hi, Leah.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. Finally, I'm so excited.
I know. I wanted to have you on for so long, but we didn't figure out how to do online stuff because Leah's out in LA right now. So we couldn't bring her onto campus to record, but now we have technology and we can bring her on. So this is what we're doing. But thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm glad the time zone stuff worked out because there's a 3-hour time difference, everybody. So it's all good though. It's still sunny for all of us.
Yes, thank God. So yeah, so we're gonna get into Leah's career, where she is at now, and how she got to LA, because she's from New Jersey. She used to live 5 minutes away from me, which those days I miss those days, because Leah's house was the hub for parties and stuff, and now she's all the way across the country. So
it's my mom.
Yes, her mom's still there. So hi, Mrs. Mack, if you're watching this. So yeah, so let's get into your career. So essentially you're like a double career person. First of all,
yeah. Been watching way too much. Sorry.
First and foremost, you're a singer. You are an incredible singer. You always have been. And I want to talk about how you got into singing and how you're still doing it now. And also I want to get into your current job, because you also have an actual 9-to-5 job. So we're going to start. So first question, please tell us how you got into singing and music and everything.
Yeah, thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I started singing when I was really young. I think it was first or second grade. I joined the choir, and I will have to give a huge shout out to I guess a good friend of mine now, but just a mentor growing up. Her name is Mrs. Hensley, but I guess I can say Loretta because I'm an adult. You can call other adults their first names now. But yeah, it was second grade. I went to Catholic school most of my life, and I started singing in the choirs, and she believed in me, and she was like, you need solos, you need lessons, you're gonna do something with this, and it's probably gonna be your life. I could tell it's a big part of your life now. So yeah, I started singing in choirs, singing at churches. I think I was the youngest cantor at the time at Mass, but yeah, Catholic school things, grew up singing in the church. And then I, wrote my own music aside from that. I've been writing music since I was in 5th grade. I think I had a notebook dating back to I don't know, I guess real first crushes, but, and I started writing, and I would always sit at my piano and play music and sing for my mom in the other room. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history. Now it's kind of my full-time thing. It's what I'm doing out in LA, and that's how I got started on that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So we'll get more into like your current music and stuff a little bit later, but I wanted to talk about like your college journey and how you know, got to where you were. You also transferred colleges just like I did, and that whole last podcast that we did, the whole theme of it was, you know, don't stay if you're not happy, whatever, but you always get something out of it and you always get an experience, whether it's negative or positive, you always have a lesson that comes out of, you know, transferring schools. You started off at a school and then wound up graduating somewhere else. So brief us on your college journey.
Yeah, so I decided to go to University of the Arts for vocal performance, and it was such a big change going from small town New Jersey to a big city in Philadelphia, center city, and I just wasn't quite ready to make that big jump. In Philadelphia, I do love the city, and it was a really awesome experience to get to experience that, but it wasn't my city, and we'll go into that later because obviously I'm here living in like the city I love. But yeah, I wasn't feeling like I was getting everything out of it that I had wanted. So although I will say the first time I ever visited Los Angeles was on a trip. I actually won the President's Grant to go to NAMM, which is like a music convention in Anaheim. And so that was probably the best experience I had at UArts, and I'm so grateful for that. And that was my first little taste of LA in California back in 2014, I think. Yeah, so a while ago. But yeah, so I actually decided that I wanted to transfer schools, and uncle's wife actually sent me this school in North Carolina called Elon University, and I started going all into the music production program route and like looking at all the stuff they had to offer. And I swear by this one video by Sean McGee, his name is. I didn't go to school with him, but he was out in LA and we're friends. But they're like, I believe in miracles video for Valentine's Day. And I was like, they were like 5 guys singing a cappella. And I was like, this is the school I want to go to. I want this exact experience. And so I don't know why that video is just like the top memory of like why I wanted to apply to Elon, but I had no idea how big a cappella was going to be in my life. I literally was just focusing on music production. Elon was a top school for music production. I thought it was pretty hard to find that. And I wanted a change from an art school to a liberal arts college, which is crazy because I feel like I'm all about the arts, all about music, but for some reason I just wanted a more movie experience, which is kind of cliche, but it definitely was worth it. Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are afraid to make a jump like that. And for you, I mean, we'll get into this, but Elon kind of opened a ton of doors and introduced you to a ton of people that you work with now. So if you're listening at home and you're afraid to transfer, we have said this so many times on this podcast, actually think about your options, because you said that Elon wasn't even one of the schools you originally applied to. So you never know when you're going to find it. And I think that's really awesome.
Yep, I completely agree. It's definitely worth it. Like you don't always have the opportunity to make big jumps like that, but if you get the opportunity, like I would definitely go for it and make those risks because they could be worth it. You'll never know if you didn't try.
Exactly. So you had mentioned, you wanted to get into a cappella life, and then you eventually did, and you joined Twisted Measure. So if you could briefly like describe like what Twisted Measure is and how it opened doors for you, because I think it's such a cool story. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah. I had 1 semester at Elon. I wasn't going to audition for a cappella because actually there wasn't really any reason. It was just it always seemed like cliche, like the movies and whatnot. And so but I saw all these groups kind of saying how awesome it was, and I decided I wanted to sign up at the organization fair when I got to Elon. And my favorite group, which happened to be Twisted Measure, there was just something so eclectic and unique and individualistic about that group that it was definitely the top of my mind. I was like, this is the people I want to spend my college time with. And I didn't get in the first semester, so that was tough, but it didn't stop me because I tried out again in the spring of, I think it was 2015, and I did get in. And yeah, that kind of honestly changed my life. It took a different route than I had ever expected. And like, I feel like I've met some of the best people I've ever met in my life. I consider them my family. And yeah, I think it shaped, now going from like the sappy part and then like the real part of like how it shaped my career, I suppose, is I was really into social media at the time, but it was slowly building. I was starting to like build my brand and design stuff for social media. And I realized Twisted Measure had like this part on their, you know, board of people who, I don't know, do stuff. And I saw how cool this opportunity was. So I like applied to be the social media manager for Twisted Measure. And my good friend, Tyler Meacham, who has awesome music, shout out to Tyler, look her up. She was running the social media at the time. So she was a mentor to me in that moment and kind of helped that journey, you know, get me from point A there to kind of where I am right now. And so I would shadow her. And then by the time, you know, she was graduating, we'd shift over positions and I was creating content for Twisted Measure, running all their social medias. I'm still editing videos for them. I absolutely adore it. But it really changed the game because when we were recording, we recorded the studio called Liquid Fifth, and we were recording Sia's Chandelier cover, obviously for acapella. So that we didn't know what crazy toll that was going to take on our group and like the world when we were recording. But I also like had mono that day. I don't want to like throw that out there, but I was so sick and almost did not go to that recording.
Mono is a very common thing we talk about on this podcast. It's all good.
Yes, it surprisingly, weirdly, it is something we talk about very often here.
Well, I'm so glad I brought it up because the second I came out of my mouth, I was like, darn it, I did not mean to say that. It's true though. I literally almost did not show up to this like life-changing experience just because I was so ill. And I was like, nope, I gotta go. I gotta do this. I'm, you know, brand new to this group. I love it so much and I want to record. And, you know, that's when I was like starting to manage the pages a little bit more with Tyler. And couple months later in June, after it was released, we kind of blew up and took over the internet by storm. And I think to me, that was my first experience with viral media, or as I call it, like virality. I don't think that's a word, but I made it up and did a lot of reports on it. And so that kind of changed the whole game. And I was constantly logged in on social media, on YouTube specifically, because that's where the video was hosted, and answering DMs and responding to all these comments. And they just kept going. My phone was blowing up all night. We were in the group chat all night just saying like, oh my goodness, now it's at this many million, now it's at this many million, and now it almost sits at 7 million, which actually crazy now that this is so common. That's not like a lot, but back then that was wild. And you know, we were in People's Magazine, we were all over the news, and it was just like an insane experience to go through. And not only like just to, you know, see it happen, but the fact that like our version or our cover of Chandelier, which is by Kyle Whitaker, who was in Twisted Measure as well, he arranged it, gotta give him credit. It's a beautiful arrangement, but that arrangement completely changed the game for like Twisted Measure. We saw how many people loved to hear us sing, how many like lives we impacted. You know, people say crazy stuff on the internet, like how many, it just absolutely blows my mind. And it brought us closer together, because even though that happened, we never let it get to our heads, and we still, you know, became stronger as like a whole fam. And I don't know, it definitely changed the game, and it made me realize that like how many people we can impact with music. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to impact people with music on social media.
No, that's awesome. And like you said, like it went viral, and it was really awesome to see, because like one of the big things that like I pulled away from it too was it got the attention of Ashton Kutcher, which is like insane. Like that was like, I remember you like texting me and you were like freaking out, like, oh my God, Ashton Kutcher shared our video. But like it really went viral, and I was like, oh wow, okay. So, and like I never paid attention to acapella, and like I didn't know like, you know, anything behind it, but like it really brought a light to like, you know, all of your friends and everything. And it was a really cool experience to like watch you go through. And like you literally looked like you loved college. Like so much, and like you went from UArts, and I saw how unhappy you were, and then you made the switch, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of North Carolina and you're just like loving your life, and it was really cool to watch.
Never thought I'd say that, being in the middle of North Carolina and loving your life. Definitely like not my life plan originally, but it's a beautiful place and I love Elon, and yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely good. So then I know that you started getting into LA a little bit more with Elon, and Elon gave you an opportunity to intern in LA. That's when I first visited LA for the first time in my life. I went and visited with our friend Mike. We went and visited LA, and Leah was out there interning, and it's a really awesome city, and like you were just like so set on moving out there after like graduation and everything. So talk about like, you know, getting there.
Yeah. Okay. So in it was actually 2016, well, when I found out that Elon had a Los Angeles program. And unfortunately, I guess the one downside of transferring, like, you know, the one downside for me was Elon is such a study abroad school. And so it is almost essential to go to like one or two different countries when you're at Elon. And that is absolutely amazing that they give you those opportunities and they open you up to so many different cultures and experiences. And I am saddened to say that I didn't really have the funds or the time with my, 5-year plan to get out of the country to do one of those experiences. But I realized they offered in-country experiences in major cities where, your industry is booming and doing really well. So I took advantage of that because it was a little bit more maintainable. And I went out to Los Angeles for the first time with Elon in 2016. I interned at a recording studio for half, which I actually still record. I recorded my last song, Kiss and Make Up, and then my new song, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, still in connection with those people, which is super awesome. They were called Forward Productions. I think they're kind of shifting around right now, but I love them. They're great and always there when I need them. And so I interned there 2016, and then I also interned at a it's like a trailer music company. So they make music trailers, or they make music for trailers and scores for trailers. So they would call them a trailer house, but these were super cinematic. The composer lived in worked out of the house. It was this beautiful house that I got to intern in. I did social media for them. And so when I started looking for internships in LA, this was still before social media took over the entire universe. So this was right at the beginning of it. Like I said, when Chandelier blew up, this was when people were like, oh, we need to start marketing this way. This is the only way to, reach people now. And it's gonna start picking up momentum. And so that's when they were like, let's get a young person to run our social media. And so people are still doing that now, but I think people are quite learning pretty fast now that there's degrees in that, for that in college now. So, I did social media for them. I would create some of their content and manage their accounts. Came back in 2017. I wound up getting a part-time job with Immediate Music, the place I was running social media for. And so I did that while I was at Elon. And then I came back to continue working in their offices 2017. And, after that, I was like, this is the place I want to be. This is where it has the opportunities, and I want to move out here when I graduate college. And so I was kind of confused on what path I wanted to take. I did my senior thesis on music supervision. I'm obviously really into social media management, but I love graphic design and video editing, and I'm a musician. So I was trying to figure out what path I'm going down, and we'll get into this, I guess, we'll get into it, but I did get my feet wet in a lot of different fields, and we can touch upon a few of those. But I think it all kind of comes together, and it works it works for the big picture that I'm aiming towards.
So then when you finally made the move to LA, because obviously after you came back and then you went back, then you came back, those back and forth. After you finished up school, when you first moved to LA, what was the first job you had while you were there? What was your approach?
Yeah, so it was summer 2018. I had just graduated college, and getting ready and saving up money, working 2 to 3 jobs in the summer to be able to afford the big move. And so once August, September came around, I actually was looking for jobs in LA. I was applying online, but like a big LA thing is I feel like this is a little bit hard, but I like to give this advice is people aren't crazy about hiring someone if you're not already here. And that was really difficult because it's like, I've been living here for 6 months, bi-coastally. I knew the city, I knew the area, I had an address that I was able to kind of use. And if I needed to, I could just fly and do interviews. There are some people who flew every time they got an interview just to say that they were in LA living there, just, so I think that's crazy, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But in the meantime, I was trying to look for remote jobs just so I could freelance and get some more, stuff under my belt. And I was actually editing for Nikki and Gabby's YouTube channel for a couple of months. So that was kind of what was helping me, that was giving me some income and experience like editing for their big channel while we were like Mike and I were in the car driving cross country, and I have my laptop editing these YouTube videos. And I mean, I love it. They're really nice girls, and I really enjoy the experience getting to like work for them. But that was kind of the first start. And then Elon has a lot of connections out in LA, and we have our own little community and hub called Elon in LA, great name, but we have a house here too, which is really cool. So it's like a little headquarters for Elon, but obviously they do classes here as well. But because there's so many alumni, there's a huge alumni network, and there's so many people. I think there's like 700, they might have grown, but so many people out here in LA. I was able to have so many friends and connections that I made through doing, the program for 2 years. That when I moved here after about 3 months, I got a job doing social media and video editing for Dance On. So that was my first welcome into LA and my first full-time job.
Luke loves like your job at Dance On, like he talks about it all the time.
Well, okay. So me and Cassie went to visit LA in like, what was it, March of 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like my senior year spring break. I had never taken a vacation before. And Leah and Mike were so nice to let us come stay with them, sleep on their couches. And then best 5 days ever, first off. But when we get there, I was like, so Leah, what's your job? And you just go, I make memes. And I was like, what? I could not believe, like, because I'd always wanted to go to LA. I wanted to so bad. And I know, like, Cassie had told me that Leah is like the perfect LA tour guide. So I was like, all right, like I get there and she's like, yeah, I make memes for my job. I'm like, are you kidding me? This city's great.
I'm not even that funny, but no, I mean, it is true that I was editing the memes. Yeah, I could get a little bit into that. I mean, I think people give such a bad rep, and now it's more accepted. It's fun to watch the climate change with social media, but yeah, I think that got a bad rep early on, like, oh, she moved to LA and now she's like making videos for social media and editing memes for a living. Why does anyone get to do that? That's not fair. And it is very creative and very time consuming. People put a lot of effort into the content that they put online, and I think that's luckily that like persona people think of social media internet people is vanishing, so we're a little bit cooler and not as but yeah, so I was just creating memes and finding good content. It was a dance company, a viral dance company, and I got to work with some really cool teams. I'll throw that in there because sometimes I forget how cool like the opportunities I had at that job were. I worked with TLC, so I got to do a whole dance class and edit that. We worked on a campaign for Disney's Descendants, and we did, who else, Janet Jackson Day. We did with Janet Jackson's dancers. Yeah,
I else about that one, by the way, because I'm like a huge like Jackson family fan in general. So
and wait, and Leah, one of the things you did with Dance On a lot was TikTok when it was first emerging too, because that app took the world by storm. What, like early 2019, late 2018? It was just like, here it is. Like, we've been wanting Vine for years, but here's this.
Exactly. It's actually it's super cool. Like it is neat being like a Gen Z millennial cusp, but being so young and moving to LA. And I think people have this like idea that you're like a TikTok genius. So that's kind of been my persona at a couple of the jobs that I've worked, that like Leah knows TikTok. She's on the platform all the time. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm probably I'm a little bit like on higher of the age demo. I mean, not anymore now, everyone's using it, but at the time I was. But yeah, Gen Z millennial cusp, I'm the TikTok queen. Everyone knows me as that in the office, and I love that because I really do be following those trends on TikTok and, you know, keeping up to date. So yeah, I guess Dance On, we did start it. It was a totally different platform now than it was then. I will still be doing that with my current job, but I'm excited to start doing that more because TikTok is blossoming every day.
TikTok is popping right now. I mean, so many people were hating on it, and then now it's like on my For You page, I'm seeing people pop up that I'm like, I could pull up your tweet where you're saying you're immature if you're on TikTok, but I ain't gonna do that because TikTok's fun and just enjoy it.
Exactly. And that's kind of like the same thing that YouTube did for me. And I still like, I am super religious YouTube watcher. Like I don't really watch TV or movies. I'm on YouTube so much. And you know, a couple years ago when YouTube was like the top thing to do, it like calmed my anxiety to go into other people's lives and just watch what they're doing and see them, you know, spread happiness and do all these fun things. And like that made me feel better. And like even right now when I'm anxious and I want like a little bit of an escape, I mean, I'm still always scrolling through TikTok, but I rely on TikTok for that because it actually really makes me comfortable and I really like it, even though there's some wild stuff on there.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, and I mean, like, I want to actually like start like talking about like your music and like what you're doing with it, because when you were still living in New Jersey and stuff, you released, you know, a couple songs, whatever, and then you released recently released Kiss and Makeup, and like it blew up for like an independent artist. Yeah. So like it's really cool to see like the reach that it's had and everything, and then you're coming out with another song, so touch on that because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess when I was making music earlier, I will say Twist and Measure and recording with them kind of not got in the way, just like took up more of my time, and so I wasn't releasing as often. I released about a song every year, which is like not, well, I guess I released a couple songs a year, but I took some down because I started changing my brand image and stuff. But if I were to think logistically, like I would release one song a year. That's like not enough. I want to be releasing music so much more, kind of get the word out there, ride the wave of Kiss and Makeup and whatnot. And so I finally was able to start taking music more seriously once I got my new job at Gunpowder and Sky, because we're basically our CEO is the former president of MTV and produced the VMAs, and it's super cool to be working under him and now creating a new music channel for Gunpowder and Sky. And so I'm kind of heading that and sending out licenses, meeting new artists, really pushing our brand strategy and identity of the channel. And, you know, I'll be running the social media once it's out. So that's like getting to focus all my time on that job has been able to work so perfectly with my full-time music career as well, because the research I'm doing for my job is also research I'm doing for my own music. And we're focusing more on independent artists and whatnot. And it's a music video platform, so I do watch a lot of music videos a day. But yeah, tying back into my own music, it's like when I had the switch from like video editing, which I love doing, but I edited a video the other day and I was like, I remember why this is so like tedious, because it took so long to render and then it wouldn't render properly. And I was like, oh, I don't miss that. But I mean, it was fun while I did it, and I still do video edit. But yeah, it was just taking that whole shift and being like, I do love creating content in short form specifically, but you know, being able to work in music full time is much more valuable to me. And like I said, my music career. And so yeah, I started I wrote a song, like one of my favorite songs, and Kiss and Makeup, last February, and that song and I took a really big journey, and I finally got to release it in December of 2019. And yeah, now it's almost at 112,000 streams on Spotify, which is super cool. I will give a little like exclusive hint on what I did to kind of I guess, push it, and then how it gained a little traction, because I think that would be valuable for anyone listening and watching. But I wound up pitching it to some playlists, which is pretty normal nowadays, independent artists pitching music to playlists to get, streams. But there was this one thing that is super valuable, and I need to she's literally just like a teenage girl from a random town, and I need to buy her dinner or a drink. I don't even know if she's old enough, but she was on TikTok, and she posted this, and her TikTok became viral. What's new? And it was like, hey, everybody, I'm playlists too. I actually have all these playlists that sound super awesome and are so relatable to like your life. And everyone ate that up because playlists are cool. Like, it's cool to find good music on playlists. That's like the thing today. And so I took on a whim. I found her Instagram and I was just like, hey, I saw your TikTok. I was wondering if you'd listen to my song and like want to put it anywhere. And her friends wound up loving the song, and she would tell me like their reactions, and she's awesome. And she was like, I put it on a bunch of my playlists, and she's still putting on her playlist. Like, I see her throw on the song on her like 2020 playlist, and this was like back in December. So I was like, oh my gosh, you are doing more for me than I think you ever know. And so I haven't told her yet like what she's done for me, but basically my song started getting a lot of streams, and by a lot it would get like a couple hundred a week, which isn't like too crazy. But whatever she did triggered Spotify's algorithm and put my song on Discover Weekly all over the world. And so people were getting Kiss and Make Up on Discover Weekly, and my streams were going like whoop whoop, like they kept going up and down. There was like a really like long period of time where it just stayed up and I got so many streams, then it went down again. And then last month in April I saw it go up again, and I was like, how did it get to 100,000 streams? I had stopped checking. I would check every day my whole life since the song came out. And then I saw it peak again, and I was like, oh my goodness, how is this happening? The song's old news now, but people are still bopping to it, and I love that song. I was super inspired recently in February after all that happened, and getting my going full-fledged into the music industry and like actually like being a musician in LA, not just like an entertainment, someone who's just working in entertainment. Like, now I'm this kind of double thing, like we were saying, Hannah Montana. But now that I've just been full-fledged into that, I've been writing way more. I'm doing collabs, I'm talking to labels and companies, and it's getting to like still wear a lot of hats, but in the music industry. And now I'm releasing a song May 15th, which is next week from tomorrow, but I don't know when this will be out. But May 15th, Get Over Yourself is what it's called, and it's my next song after Kiss and Make Up. So I'm really excited for that to come out, and I'm just really excited to keep writing songs. I'm working on another one already. So yeah.
Well, that's extremely exciting. I mean, we haven't had a ton of people from like music industry on yet. Really, our main one was our friend Sully Bop. And hearing about this industry is just super exciting, because like the way music affects people and reaches people is like just amazing. Because I mean, I like movies, and it's harder to grab people's attention for movies, but like you can just DM somebody and be like, listen to my 3-4 minute song, and it could affect them just as much, if not more, than a 2-hour movie, because it's so powerful, just everything that a song can do. And it's really cool hearing about the TikTok thing, because like people be sleeping on TikTok, but like if your song gets made into a sound on TikTok and people start using it, then they're going to be looking it up. They're going to be listening to it like crazy, which I'm sure you're going to try out with the next song too, and pretty much any other song you do at this point, because why not,
Yeah, exactly. And I want to add that like it's so interesting now that everyone is trying to get their song, like you said, to blow up on TikTok, and the effort that people are putting in is like, the sound in this bus is astronomical. I don't know why I thought of that TikTok when but anyway, the volume. But yeah, people are just trying so hard to get their sound big on TikTok. And if you notice, Spotify charts, and they are TikTok songs, and these are songs that like people put their like blood, sweat, and tears in their days and nights and work their butts off to do, and people refer to them as TikTok songs. And I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's amazing. It's
if
literally,
people listen to it, it's the same thing.
Exactly. It's taking over this entire industry. It is taking over. TikTok is the future.
Well, didn't Lil Nas X literally like market Old Town Roads through TikTok and other social media apps, and like he kind of like forced himself to be famous.
Yeah, Old Town Road, that was like, I feel like that started the whole TikTok
Yeah.
phenomenon with music. It was Old Town Road, and then Billy Ray Cyrus coming on and really helping him out. Like that, it's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And I still love that song, and it's it's nostalgic to me now, which is beautiful.
Right? Isn't that weird? But it is.
That's because the social media platforms, like, they change so frequently that, like, something that came out a year ago is like, oh my God, you're an OG on TikTok if you know this sound. Like,
and it brings you back to times of your life. It's literally the same as, you know, our parents' time. There's times in life where this music plays and it brings you back to that, and TikTok's doing the same thing. It's just being consumed a bit differently. Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, no, this is awesome. So like, if you're listening to this, stream Leah's music. She has more music coming out. What is it, next Friday? Yes. Oh, that's my graduation day. So it's coming out on my graduation day. Stream her song. So yeah, no, this is like a really good place to end. Thank you, Leah, for like agreeing to be on the podcast and stuff, and, you know, helping us out behind the scenes, which you've done and everything, and giving us advice on social media. It's very, very welcomed, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for letting me on. I love doing this type of stuff. I love, especially with like you guys. It's obviously so easy to talk to you guys, but yeah, I just absolutely love talking about this, and I ramble, so I apologize, but you know.
Your rambles are welcome. That's what we want. But before we go, Leah, I just want you to tell everybody like where they can find you on social, because you are the TikTok queen, obviously. But like, hit us up with that Instagram, what you got on Spotify, wherever you want, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, well, so I'll make it pretty easy for you. I go by at LOL It's Leah, so LOLITSLEA, absolutely everywhere. So I fought very hard to get that on TikTok too, because I was the OG LOL It's Leah, and I will always be LOL It's Leah. So you can find me on all social medias there, and then on Spotify, I go by with spaces, so it's L space E space A, all caps, but it's Leah. So.
All that will be plugged in the description. So y'all better go home, or you're already home because you should be social distancing. Y'all better stay in your home, stream Kiss and Makeup because it's a straight bop. Find it on playlists, add it to stuff. And then on May 15th, because I don't know what day this comes out, stream Get Over Yourself.
Yeah.
So again, thank you, Leah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. And hey, that's another quarantine pod, baby. Another one in the books.
Get over yourself.